everyone. Welcome to Atheo Amplified Podcast, powered by PleasantonExpress.com. I'm Charlie Gallegos, your host for today, co-managing editor of Pleasanton Express. So we have wonderful ladies here. And ladies, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I am Maribel Valdez. I am the principal at Our Lady of Grace Catholic School.
And I am Gabby Lopez. I am a PE teacher here at Our Lady of Grace as well.
And I'm Lilianna Gutierrez. I am the Recruitment and Outreach Manager for the Archdiocese of San Antonio.
All right, thank you for joining us today. Super excited to have y'all here. So we're going to talk a little bit about the new law created by Senate Bill 2, passed February 4th. This all just happened. And this establishes the Texas Education Freedom Account, which provides families with a lump sum of money to spend on approved educational cost. Now, can you explain a little bit about the school voucher program?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you so much for having us. We're super excited to be here. The program is brand new, and so like you mentioned, SB2 was approved last spring and came into law as of September 4th. It's a program that eligible families can apply for and use state funds to fund their Catholic school or private school expenses, things like tuition. And so what's really neat is that this is more than a voucher. The TEFA accounts are education savings accounts that can cover things like I mentioned, tuition, uniforms, food, transportation, a number of different things. Now, what's also really neat about this program is that unlike vouchers, these funds do not expire at the end of the year. And so they actually can roll over every year, and families can choose to bank some money. So should they decide, you know what, I travel anyway to San Antonio for work, once my student graduates from OLG, they can also use that funding that they've banked to for a middle school or a high school in San Antonio, or any school that's participating in the program. Now, what the bill specifically set aside $1 billion for the entire state of Texas. They estimated about 70 to 90,000, that would serve 70 to 90,000 students. But we're seeing that there's much more demand than there is funding for. And so what's going to happen is that these students are going to be placed into priority groups. First priority group is specific for families that have a student with a disability and they meet the income guideline of not exceeding 500% of the federal poverty level. And the second priority group is for families whose income is at or below the 200% of the federal poverty line. That third priority group is kind of in the middle. So if you are a family that is between the 200% and 500% of the federal poverty line, and then that last group is for any families who exceed the 500% of the federal poverty line. I know those are a lot of percentages and numbers, I'm sorry, but what's really great is that OLG has all of this information on their website, and if any families have questions, they're more than welcome to reach out to any of us.
What can you expect the landscape of your private school, Our Lady of Grace, to change now that this just passed?
Absolutely. So this provides options for our families. We, in the past, have been self-funded by families unless they apply for a scholarship on the campus, which is also available. But this provides options for many of our families who didn't think that a private Catholic school was an option for them. So with the TEFA program, it will cover essentially all of the costs and associated with registering in a private school, along with any fees that we may have. So I think looking at the landscape of our campus, we're looking to really provide an option for families, and that's maybe public school or another charter school may not be the right fit for them, and they're interested in an education that provides not only academics that focuses on the Texas standards or TEKS, but also educating their children about their faith and being a well-rounded student. So lots of different opportunities that our campus can provide families and their students. So we're looking forward to bringing in new families into our campus. And as a result of TEFA, we have seen an increase in families interested and submitting interest forms and also touring our campus, which is lovely to see, just so that they can get a real feel for what a typical day looks like on our campus, as well as ask us any questions. And we're there to support them as well, to see if we're a right fit for them, and if they should select our campus as an option for them. We can definitely help them through the process.
Okay, with that being said, do y'all anticipate expanding programs, classrooms, teachers, staff?
Absolutely. We pride ourselves right now on small class sizes, which a lot of families are looking for as well. Right now we have an average of about 13 students per adult or teacher. So we have an opportunity to grow that. With that said, we want to maintain that smaller classroom sizes and that individualized instruction personalized instruction per student. So we do have long-term plans of expanding our campus should a lot of families want to come in and meet the needs. But right now our classrooms are filling up. So we're asking our families, anybody that's interested in joining our campus, to reach out. On our website, they're able to find an inquiry form that just sends us that information that we can reach out to them and possibly contact them and bring them on campus and show them a tour of our classrooms. We'll take them in through our classrooms, our playgrounds, our cafeteria, all the different portions of our campus. And after the school tour, I will sit with the family and just have a little discussion about what we can offer the families, and also, are we a good fit for them? What are they interested in when they're looking at the education of their children? And then we can make a decision together if we're the right fit for them. And from then they submit an enrollment packet and we move forward. So we're there to guide them every single step of the way.
Awesome. Okay, can you explain a little bit about the PE? I know you were the PE coach, right? Explain a little bit about that and more in detail about the Our Lady of Grace Catholic School.
Yes, so basically a typical day at Our Lady of Grace, we are very faith-based at our school. So every morning after for morning announcements, we meet in the cafeteria and we all say morning prayer. This is with our pre-K students all the way to 5th grade, so everybody knows our morning prayer, which gets all of them involved as well, and then it helps when they see their teachers doing it as well, so we role model it. And then we all depart from there. We all go to our classrooms. They come outside, and so it's really fun because I see the little ones all the way from the littles from 3-year-old all the way to 5th grade to the 10-year-olds. So it's a great feel being on campus, and a bonus is I get both sides of it, so I get the teacher side of it and I get the parent side of it because I do have a child there as well. And it's just really awesome seeing at the end of the day him come home and tell me how excited he was about his day at school, or even showing us new prayers or just different things that he's learned around being with his fellow classmates and with his teachers. And not only his teacher, it's neat, like Ms. Valdez was saying, that we are a very small campus. So even if you're the 5th grade teacher or the 3rd grade teacher, you know every single student. And it's neat because you know them, you know their siblings, and you know the families really well. And so I feel like being on our campus, you get that family feel of everybody knows everybody. And we all know if we need something, we all lean on each other. So I think that's a really neat side of it. Especially like looking outside in as a parent too, is you see that and you see the connections that not only your child has with their grade level, but even walking down the hallways high-fiving an older student, like they get that elderly, sibling feel, they get that older role model that they can look up to. So it's a really neat, warm feeling that you get on campus being with us.
Okay, and you stated you are a parent.
Yes.
So have you enrolled? Have you done the application? And if you have, what was that process?
So it was actually a very quick, simple process. We have applied for other scholarships as well. I do have a son there currently, and I'm looking to send my daughter there as well next year. And this was the easiest application by far. It wasn't long, it wasn't very tedious. It asked very baseline questions, and I thought that it was super fast. I said this was it. I was stressing so much, like, oh my goodness, this is going to take hours, but I would say like maybe less than 15-20 minutes. And Ms. Valdez, I stepped in with her and I asked her, can you help me complete this application? Which I feel like that's a good thing too, is knowing like as a parent you can go in and ask like, where do I go to look to fill out this application? And she was there every step of the way. She's like, upload this, and I'm like, that's it, like there's nothing else to it. And so it was very simple. I would highly encourage a lot of families to do it because it's not tedious, and when you get through it you're like, oh goodness, that was a sense of relief because it was super fast. So That's great.
And so with that said, I just want to reiterate, like, we're here to help our families. And next Tuesday, we actually are having a TEFA family application session. We're going to allow any families, but not only our current families, but any outside families that maybe are not part of our, they're interested and not currently part of our campus, to come on over. So it's open to everybody. To come on over, we'll be there from 9 to 3, and we'll have computers available. We're going to just walk parents through the process and any support that they may need or questions that they may have. So we're always available to answer those. And if they can't necessarily come on next Tuesday from 9 to 3, they can just give us a call, and we'd be happy to sit with them anytime they do have some time.
Okay. And with that being said, as parents, we have a lot of questions, especially when it comes to our child's education. So I had a question for you. What should parents know before considering using this voucher?
I think it's important for them to know which school is the right fit. And so here at OLG, we have so many great qualities about the school. And so to me, touring is very important. Speaking to Ms. Valdez, seeing that one-on-one connection, seeing how these students are around their teachers and each other. They're very helpful. And like you mentioned, they love to just to have those older buddies, because they're so excited themselves to become that person, become the big man or big gal on campus,
leader,
you know? And so it's super sweet to see that. I think it's also really important for families to know, like you mentioned, it's very easy to apply. Some of our families have even mentioned that it's taken them 10 minutes. And I also think that I was going to add to your point, because you mentioned your little one. Siblings are prioritized. And so it's one application per family. You can add multiple siblings. And so if one gets selected, they all get selected. And I think that the state was very intentional in the format of this program, because it made it to where siblings are prioritized, our vulnerable communities are prioritized, as well as our economically disadvantaged families. They're prioritized as well, because again, we want to open doors for families who have always wanted to take the leap and enroll their students at OLG or other schools that are participating, but they've never had that opportunity. I mean, even in our conversations that we've had with families, they don't even realize that there are financial aid opportunities within those schools. And so to us, it's just very important that families are very well educated and that they know where they can go to get information.
And so with that said, I just wanted to also add on to that, if that's okay. Should a family not be selected to participate in TEFA, we have other options. We do have a scholarship called Hope for the Future that is a part of the diocese. I don't know if you want to mention that.
Definitely. We have Hope for the Future as well. It's an Archdiocesan scholarship. And so what we're telling families is apply to both, because both of them can help you. If you were to get selected for TEFA, the TEFA funding amount for a family just enrolling their student in private school or in Catholic school is $10,474. Now, Hope for the Future, that can cover a portion of tuition. So if we have a very lucky family member that happens to get both, we do inform them that TEFA funds will be able to cover all, if not a little bit more than the cost to go to a school like OLG. Hope for the Future would cover a portion. And so that is when we would very kindly, very respectfully reallocate the Hope for the Future funds to a family who hasn't received TEFA. And so there's different avenues to get to the same place. It's all about just educating the family to ensure that they know that they have options.
Right. And if the families are currently in private schools, they can apply?
Definitely. And so this program, TEFA, is for students who are already in our schools with our families who are putting in that investment, making the sacrifice, but also for those families that have always wanted to but haven't had that opportunity just due to financial burdens.
And one thing I was going to ask is, how are y'all going to help the transition from new families that have not been in private schools, and say they get into this program and they jump into private school? How do y'all transition?
So we are here to support our families every step of the way. Initially, the very first time they come on campus to tour the campus, we introduce them to a lot of the staff members that are available. I'm available as well, just to meet the family and welcome them. After that, once if they select to be part of our campus, then what we'll do is usually have a new parent orientation right at the
Okay.
very beginning of the year. We want just to give them the information about what to expect on a daily basis,
Okay.
what a daily schedule would look like, car pickup and drop off, just all the little details that they might have questions on. Our PTC, which is our parent teacher organization committee, will also be there to provide information. Such a supportive network where they come out and welcome families and share contact information. So in case any families have a question, we have homeroom moms that give out information to all of the homeroom teachers the families and the parents, as far as like communicating what's going on that week. We do newsletters, weekly newsletters to families, just keeping them updated on what's happening on campus.
Okay.
Just so many different ways that we communicate with families and provide the opportunity to know what's happening on their children's campus. But in addition to that, we try to include them in many different activities that we have on campus. We're about to have Donuts for Dad next weekend.
Oh, fun.
Or next week, so that we can bring in the dads and, just build those memories that many of us have growing up. And we want to instill that in our current families as well. So we have a lot of different ways that we communicate with families. And so that's what I just feel that it's important to open that line of communication and be here also, should there be a question or concern, to give me a call. And I think that's the beauty of having a small campus as well, is that you're able to contact the teacher or the parent or quickly anybody on campus, essentially. And so I think that's also a perk of being part of a small campus.
Right. Yes. All right. Do you think that this will create more educational opportunities and choices in small towns like ours?
Absolutely. I think initially the state had predicted about 60 to 70 applications being submitted across the state, and we're 3 weeks into the application window, and there has been over 124,000 applications submitted across the state. So what does that say? It says that families are looking for options for their children across the state of Texas, not just in small towns, but in big cities as well. I grew up in a small town, so I know exactly what it feels like. In my small town, there was only one choice, and that was just public school. And so now having this opportunity to open up our doors at Our Lady of Grace to all families is just has been a wonderful experience. And I feel that the state is moving in that direction with this first year of the TEFA program. And I just see it growing from here forward. So definitely a positive from the state.
Okay, and as a principal, what excites you about this new opportunity? Obviously, probably a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Exciting.
It is very exciting to experience this and to see it grow and see how families are responding to the opportunity to choose a right school setting for their children. It's been exciting to meet so many different families that are interested in what we're able to offer them and their children. Now, when we're looking at, and we mentioned this earlier, educating their children, we do provide all the same curriculum that public schools have. We are teaching all of the TEKS, which is the required curriculum from the state. But in addition to that, we're able to teach our children how to really grow their faith. So looking at their virtues and being kind and being a faithful servant to, and also being able to go to Mass. We do celebrate Mass together as a school community once a week. We also get religion within the classroom, and which is absolutely wonderful to see our children grow that in their faith as well. So providing that different perspective. The other thing that is a little different for us is that we do not do or require students to go through state testing, which sometimes is a big stressor for a lot of students and families. We do assess our students, but it's a different method of testing. We're testing for growth. We want to see where our children are at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and the end of the year. And with that said, we have an amazing opportunity to utilize an assessment program that will tell us exactly what your child's strengths are and what they may need to grow in. And so we're able to target specific skills that students may struggle with and be able to grow that so that they're really strong academically. And so that's what we strive for.
Okay, and what if some parents are still undecided about this?
I would say come visit us. Come visit us. You do not need to make a decision at that point. No pressure, but really just look at your options, see what's available, and this is definitely a great option for many families. And so just come visit us and ask us questions and let us show you around our campus. We have big plans for our campus. Right now, we are looking to maintain our small classrooms, but yet we still have a few spots available in every grade level. So that's something parents are interested. We start in pre-K 3, so 3-year-olds and up to 5th grade.
Okay.
So we're just inviting families out and give us an opportunity to show you what we have to offer.
Yeah. Okay, so what are the next steps for parents if they might be interested? What is the next steps? What do they need to do?
So our first step would be going onto our website.
Okay.
And there's going to be a link there just an interest form asking more information about it, which directly contacts myself as well as our office staff, and we'll reach out and set up a campus tour. Once the campus tour, just an opportunity to view what our campus is like in our daily life and on campus. We will set up an interview, not necessarily an interview, but just information on parents being able to ask information from school, from myself, from the principal, and we'll sit and see if we're the best fit for them. And once we do that, and we go through the process of enrollment.
Okay.
So the state of Texas initially predicted about 60 to 70,000 applications to be submitted across the state. We are 3 weeks into the application window, and so far we've seen 124,000 applications submitted across Texas. So what does that say? It says that a lot of Texans have reached out and are looking for options for their children for school choice.
Definitely. And if any families have any questions, they need some help, Our Lady of Grace's website is a great resource. They can reach out there, as well as sacatholicschools.org. We are both here to help. We want to make sure that families feel like they are accompanied through this journey and that they're supported.
Yeah.
And so one last point that I wanted to make is, I did mention an application window. That window closes on March 17th.
March 17th.
So the window will not open until next school year or next January. So we're really looking at encouraging all our families to apply, even if you have not made a decision about where you would like to take your children next school year. Apply, and so that you have an opportunity to make that choice later.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on to this podcast and being a guest on our 8th Year Amplified.
Thank you for having us.
And explaining more about the school voucher program for our parents. And this gave a lot of insight what this is really about. And thank you for tuning in to 8th Year Amplified podcast, powered by PleasantonExpress.com. We'll see you next time. Bye.